Who doesn't like good old computer RPGs? Well, I guess there are people who do not. But let's be honest, the demographic that watches this type of videos on YouTube mostly do like or even love them. And what happens if you sprinkle some satire on top of that? Well, in this case we got comedy by truckload. The Dungeon of Naheulbeuk, the Amulet of Chaos. Even the name of the game is ridiculous. It is based on the French audio series. This is a very smart concept, as there is a ton of tropes in fantasy adventure genre that can be used and laughed at. Besides, we got so many of the serious stories in RPGs that from time to time we could use a game that does not treat itself so seriously. So here we go again, into another great late review. This time we are not going to get deep into the contents of the story, because it is not that long and intricate. Let's just say it begins with simple quests of retrieving some kind of statuette. But from there, all of our adventures gonna be coincidental and circumstantial. Worry not, it all starts wholesome with a sense of humor that slaps you in the face if you are not on the lookout. We got a whole party of distinct characters which don't have names. Instead they are called by their class or race. So we got here Ranger, Arcanist, Ogre, Barbarian, Thief, Dwarf, Elf, Paladin, Bard and Priestess. The fact that Thief is such a coward is hilarious. I don't know why it disarms me every time. And even more funny is the fact he can lockpick because he has not specialized into burglar. Elf and Dwarf are constantly fighting each other with words. Trope as old as Tolkien himself, rest in peace. Ranger is a leader, but not a very good one to be honest, but hey, it's the best they have. Rumor says that before becoming an adventurer, he was a chicken catcher and chair maker. Arcanist is the brains of the operation. She translates what Ogre says and do other things that demand higher education. Barbarian is a cliché, mountain of muscles that charges into battle headfirst. From the last three I can only speak of Paladin, cause I chose her as an 8th party member. She is possessed by the spirit of justice which she serves, often misguided and wrong in her beliefs, but consistent nonetheless. The story of the game with its dialogues and played scenes is making fun of many tropes of genre. You're gonna find here parody of Baldur's Gate, as well as Lord of the Rings and many other well-known titles. I don't have many gripes with writing and presentation, but still I have some, such as too much cursing, especially from our so-called heroes. If I was a writer for this game, I would reduce it to absolute minimum, for conveying only extreme emotions in extreme situations. We do not want our party to be vulgar and unlikable. Another one is that some jokes may be overused, but it is decently long game, so I can easily forgive that. When it comes to the game structure, it is nothing new or unexpected. We got classical division into main quest and side missions, which blends perfectly because this is one big misadventure to be honest. You're gonna find out if you decide to play the game yourself. Now we need to talk about the gameplay indeed. Let's start with combat, which is turn-based, simple yet elegant. It reminds me of Final Fantasy Tactics back in PlayStation 1 era. Most of your party members can use both melee and ranged weapons, same with abilities. This is really good for more tactical options on the battlefield. The direction in which each character is standing is important, because of backstabs and flanking attacks. It adds tactical depth to combat, but can be annoying in the long run, cause you gotta always keep it in mind. Other than that, you got your typical status effects and attacks of opportunity. Overall, close enough to the D&D rule set. What do we have here outside of combat, I hear you ask? Well, there is not very complicated but nicely done progression system for our party of clowns, I mean heroes. Other than that, and outside of dialogue scenes of course, we can experience interactive elements of environment outside of combat, traps, loot, notes, etc. There is a keybind, default to tab, that aligns interactable objects. I never liked solutions like that, but even more I disliked pixel combing, so it's the lesser of two evils. To cheer us up though, we got some logical puzzles that are rewarding. Even more loot, yay! Coming back to dialogues, we got choices during quests sometimes. Yes, you can choose good guy or bad guy options, or something in between, but the final result can be hard to predict. In the end, it's all fun and jokes. As you can already see and hear, the game isn't very complicated at all. Moreover, I would say the simplicity is its biggest selling point. But is it in the good technical shape? Well, mostly yes, but let's discuss some details. First of all, we got nice stylized graphics in this title. It is very fitting for the character of this game, and pleasing for the eye at the same time. One thing that bothered me somehow in the visual presentation was not very good anti-aliasing, which left some fluorescent over cascading spaces too much of a pixel mess. Wait for a second here. There was one more thing that I am definitely not a fan of. Maximum FPS of 120 is not what I like, but at least it is not 60 for the love of Chrome. Wait again, I guess I was completely wrong. There is more things that annoyed me. UI could use improvements. We should have displayed tooltips with keybinds on various elements like in most games, and get clear buff and debuff information instead of icons only, which most of them do not have description in the game, so we can only guess what they really do. Sometimes game doesn't register input. This is small but very annoying bug. I think it is due to UI hitboxes being smaller than their graphical representation. Getting back to the good things, sound and music are stylized and funny as well. It is again very fitting for this title and I like it very much. What I do not appreciate on the other hand is that music sometimes stops playing for a while, for no apparent reason. From other things, puffing for our party of heroes is not ideal, but not very bad as well. You can get used to it fast, so that's that. There is funny bugs sometimes when during battles some action launches one of the fallen bodies up and out of a screen with dramatic speed. This is a very fitting bug for this game. Unfortunately, AI is not very intelligent nor smart. Enemies oftentimes damage themselves where they should not, by walking through obvious damage areas. They do not avoid totally avoidable attacks of opportunity and other similar things, mostly connected to puffing. Oh well, I played on moderate difficulty, so maybe on higher one they do better, but I really doubt that. So, the Dungeon of Naheulbeuk, the Amulet of Chaos. Is it a good game? Yes. Is it flawed? Yes. Do I recommend it? Also yes. If you like turn-based combat, RPG progression systems and a good dose of humor in the form of satire, this is the game you should definitely play. It surprisingly took me over 30 hours to finish it, despite its simplicity. I guess turn-based combat takes much longer than real-time one. This would be my best bet. The game follows old-school model of expansion packs that you can buy in order to experience more adventures in this funny setting. I got this game for free. It was an Epic Store giveaway for the week, so I always invite you to follow various giveaways because oftentimes you can get great games for the wonderful price of 0 of whatever currency you are using. I do it by the Opera GX web browser with its GX Corner. This is not sponsored, by the way. I wish it was. This is just a tip for viewers to save some money sometimes. When I start to think about it, most of the games I play are either free or did cost me only pennies. I guess the green economics came handy for once, but there are also times when I pay the full price for the new hyped-up game, damn you Diablo 4, so I am not immune to that unfortunately. What I wish for this time around is that we get more games like this one. We need relaxing and humoristic titles to play in between more serious ones, so we remain balanced even in our entertainment. With this in mind, I say goodbye to you, and I will see you next time in another Great Late Review.